All right, here we go. In this video, we're talking about WrestleMania 30. Daniel Bryan versus Triple H. Yes, yes, yes. That's what we've all been doing for basically the last 2 years, but it hasn't been as strong as it's been this last year. I tip my hat to the people at WrestleMania 29 last year. You guys were a good crowd for WrestleMania. When Daniel Bryan won his tag match, I honestly didn't think that it was the biggest moment in WrestleMania history. But when all of you guys got Daniel Bryan to start doing the yes with me, because that was the first time, honestly, that I was able to acknowledge that Daniel Bryan had gone back and dutched the whole no gimmick. I know he does it now when he has to, and he's in his his whole gimmick with Triple H. But Daniel Bryan has had a huge rise in the last 2 years. Of course, WrestleMania 28, everybody saw him running into the big boot from Sheamus, getting the brogue kick and losing in just a matter of a few seconds. It was over before I knew it. Here I was, sitting in the, wherever the hell it was, Miami Stadium, looking at my camera to make sure that I got a good picture of Daniel Bryan in the ring, and here I hear, and I don't even know what's going on. I know in my head, looking back, that I know that's a pinfall count, but I didn't even know to look up. They started playing the music, and I'm lost. I mean, I was thinking that they were doing Sheamus's entrance again. I had no clue. I mean, everybody thought that Daniel Bryan was done. From there, he goes to have awesome matches with CM Punk. He goes on to have a huge gimmick, of a tag team with him and Kane, with Dr. Shelby. He looks like he's going to be an enjoyable mid-card guy that we're just going to see ride out like that for the rest of his life. And just hope he doesn't turn into a guy like Zack Ryder. Yeah, he's hot, but the second you know that anybody starts to stop cheering for this guy a little bit, it's just going to be downhill city. And next thing you know, he's able to be the guy who's standing up for the WWE to fight the Shield in all of these six-man matches. He becomes the first guy to beat him. Gets some more fire under his belly, and he goes up and he wins the WWE Championship from John Cena. Beats the guy, beats the face at the second biggest show of the year. I was speechless. I mean, I knew in my soul that Daniel Bryan was going to win that match. That is why I went to SummerSlam, was to see him win and become the WWE champion for the first time and be able to beat the guy. I was really sort of scared, when John Cena got hurt. Well, he had been hurt, but that size of his elbow just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I just was like, oh man, it's not going to be what it once was. But that moment when he won and they shot confetti all over the fucking Staples Center was fucking awesome. I will remember that for the rest of my life. Me, my buddy Above Average Muda, I had Miguel, freaking 88 on one side. That was huge. And the fact that, Triple H turned on him, Randy Orton cashed in the Money in the Bank. Honestly, in my mind, looking back, it's the first time I ever left a wrestling show mad. But because I'm able to remember how I felt so bad, like as we walked out of the Staples Center and we walked down the street, and as I said bye to my friends, and as I went and dropped Justin off at his hotel, I just was crushed. I honestly have never left a wrestling show like that. And the fact that I didn't get to watch Raw the next night because I was at Disneyland with my family, just it really bugged the shit out of me. I really wanted to see what they were doing this and where they were going. And yeah, it wasn't the best feeling in the world when you saw him go to Night of Champions and win the title only for it to be stripped. And then they go to the next pay-per-view and the same shit happened over and over and over again. You knew that Daniel Bryan was going to be a good champion for WWE. And they were just doing the right things to piss us off. The thing is, if you're pissed off and you keep watching, I know you're bitching a little bit, but it proves that you really care about this shit. It proves that you really care about Daniel Bryan, a guy who's a little undersized. It reminds me of when I read the old school wrestling observers, and they're talking about Bret Hart, and they're talking about Shawn Michaels taking over that big spot, and wrestlers don't really liking it because WWE's always been the big man thing, and it's who's really gonna go out there and sell for these guys? And try to make him look good. Lucky for Shawn Michaels, the guy that he was going out there and fighting when he first was getting, that big steam under him, was a big guy Kevin Nash, Diesel, a guy that was his buddy that didn't have any problems taking that drop. I don't see how those guys could be so close friends there's only one title, for him to win, and you got Kevin Nash going up against Shawn Michaels. I guess at the end of the night, if the match is great, that's all that matters. But I mean, just Daniel Bryan going up against Triple H when I was feeling that this match was going to happen, when it was sort of like CM Punk got put to the side, and it looked like to make sure that they were going to have Triple H in a match, it was going to give him Daniel Bryan. I was more excited for this than anything in the world. When he didn't win the Rumble, fuck yeah, I was mad. I was sitting there on the couch, and I was one of those people. I really thought Daniel Bryan was going to be number 30. I mean, every number that ticked by, like as it got longer, once we hit 20. It was Zach and Luke and I. We were watching the show at my house. We just were guessing. We were counting him down. Like, this can be this guy. This is gonna be that guy, and then that's it. And then for some reason, when 29 hit, I was well, he's fucking 30. Here we go. It's on like Donkey Kong. Go back to my Rumble videos. It's who I picked to win it, and he wasn't even in the fucking match. It was Zach that I remembered that I think Mysterio cut a promo saying he was in the Rumble and he hadn't been in there yet. And it was like, even though he had said that fact, I didn't want to believe it until he came running out there. So I think that's the understanding of why Mysterio got booed so bad when he came running down there. But Daniel Bryan has had an awesome year. And when I thought that he was just going to be in this one match and that was it, I was still thinking that this could be the fucking main event. Daniel Bryan runs out, gives the big fucking knee, the knee plus, right into Triple H's big old huge schnoz, and he goes down for the 1, 2, 3. Even though Daniel Bryan doesn't walk out as the WWE champion, he still beat the guy that's in charge. I mean, like, beating the guy in charge is almost as good as beating the guy who's the champion. The guy who's in charge is the guy that makes sure that the guy is the champion, still is the champion. And Triple H has helped out Randy Orton 1,000 times. You can see now on the show. Now he's pissed off that he's had to help him so bad because Randy's got this complex where he just sort of doesn't believe in himself. And that, to me, honestly makes him a little bit better of a champion, because you can tell that he has some shit going on in his life where he doesn't really believe that he is the best in the world. that could be going out there and being the WWE champion. It's almost like he knows that Triple H has to help him, and he's sort of like, begging and asking Triple H for, how he's going to help him when it goes down. But now the fact that, they're able to make this into a, I guess an instant number one contender. This is almost like his second chance at the Royal Rumble. I'm not 100% sure if this is because they've listened to the fans or if they've listened to the people. But now the person that gets to go on, to the next, into the main event is pretty good. Honestly, the match was set up for Daniel Bryan to win. And I don't know if Triple H came out there on Monday and said what he said just to make it not as obvious that Daniel Bryan was going to beat him. I mean, I would guess. I mean, like, here I am, like, really hoping, in my soul that Bryan's able to, get there. But I mean, like, is there such thing as, like, 100% guarantee that one guy's going to win this match? Especially when, like, there's a gimmick that, if he wins this, he gets to have another match on that night. Like, the WrestleMania might as well be called Daniel Bryan night in New Orleans. Like, but I mean, like, if Triple H is able to come out there and say that if he wins, he's going to get in the championship, now you have to scratch your head and start thinking, like, well, what if he does win? Like, like, everybody hates Triple H. Everybody sort of has this sort of feeling about the guy that the only reason he's in the spot he's in today is because who he's married to, and he's been the best political guy in the game that we've ever seen, trying to make sure that he gets wins over these guys. He doesn't have to wrestle against certain other guys. He's put into certain spots to make him look good. I mean, nobody plays the game better than Triple H because he is the game. But no shot in the world. I mean, I've scratched my head 1,000 times trying to think of a way. Maybe what if it's a draw? What if it's a double DQ? What if they just throw the match out, making it a fatal 4-way? I'm not sure. But in right here, Daniel Bryan wins this match. It's just flat out fucking knocks him out. He takes a beating from Triple H. He's got to go into the next round looking a little bit battered and bruised. But in his heart, Daniel Bryan knows that he wants to be the WWE champion, and he's going to let everyone down inside that stadium if he doesn't do it. So he has to beat Triple H. He has to give that big knee. Hell, Triple H, just because he loses this match, doesn't mean that he can't come down to the ring and be some sort of outside enforcer, trying to make sure that Daniel Bryan doesn't win that way, because he's so mad and he's so fumed over losing this match. Although, thinking of it right now, I think he would do that. I think even though he, like, what if he lost and this is early and he just fucking clobbers them with a goddamn sledgehammer? I mean, there's 1,000 things that could happen. This, to me, is my match. You know, Daniel Bryan, if he goes on to the next match, I'm going to be cheering my ass off, hoping that he wins. But I think this is the match that I'm mostly invested in. I mean, this is the one that, like, when I look how much we paid for our tickets, shoot. I mean, like, and then you have to add on how much we pay for a hotel, for airlines, you know, for everything else. I love hanging out with my friends. But if there's not one match to hang fucking WrestleMania on and say, I'm glad I was there for this, I mean, like, that match was great. That was my favorite wrestler of all time. But Rock and Cena was the fucking reason that I was at WrestleMania 28. WrestleMania 27, I think it's a good show. I defend it all the fucking time. But, that Undertaker vs. Triple H match is fucking great. It's awesome. You know, CM Punk versus The Rock. I mean, there was a point in that match when CM Punk won, when he cheated with the Shield. I was like, fuck me. I had a ton of fun that day with hanging out with all my friends. Let's see, it was Miguel picked me up at the airport. Mario flew down with me. Kevin was there. Luke was there. We met 1,000 other people. But, you know, I would have wasted a good amount of money, like $300 in one day, if if The Rock didn't win. I would have walked out of there with my tail between my legs. I probably would have threw my hat on the ground. Oh, fuck me! And I mean, to me, this match can't let me down. Triple H is my favorite wrestler of all time. I don't think there's anybody else that's ever come close to him. That when I was ordering these shows and I was paying for him on pay-per-view, that if he was wrestling in that main event, even if he was in that semi-main, even if he didn't win that match, he was going to go out there and he was going to give me my money's worth. What was the pay-per-view? $30, maybe $40 back in the day. But if I paid for that from like the time he won the championship in 99, 2000 on, I knew I was going to get it. Maybe he didn't give me that before, but like when he was champion, I knew that was the fucking guy. That's when I stapled myself to him and I was like, this is awesome. WCW couldn't do that with Hulk Hogan. He was my favorite wrestler from when I was a little kid, but Triple H gave me my money's worth. You know, I'm watching these WCW pay-per-views back on the WWE Network, and man, oh man, those main events, most of them fucking sucked. I mean, like the undercard guys really deserved a huge amount of thank yous and a huge amount of a bonus check from WCW because of the fact they made those shows good. If you ordered those shows for the WCW main events, there was a good deal of them you were gonna go home unhappy. Like if you got home late and you're like, well, you know, even though I'm late, I'm just gonna buy the show because I want to see this match. You buy that one match. Oh, not good. This is going to be good, though. WrestleMania 30, Daniel Bryan versus Triple H. The winner goes on to the main event. You can't go wrong. Bet Daniel Bryan. He's gonna, oh, that place is going to blow. There's not going to be a roof on there. You're going to think Hurricane Katrina came through there one more time. Those ceiling tiles are going to be flying off. I don't think what I just said is that politically correct. If you live down there, I'm sorry. But they're going to blow the roof off that place. See you in the next video.